Okay, hey, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today's the 29th, April 2018, and I'm working on something here, and I have been on and off all day. It's just a beautiful day here, and we got a birthday party this afternoon for one of the kids, so we've been just doing a bunch of prep and stuff. But the video I made this morning was to brief you all that we're upgrading from a commercial farm to a homestead operation. And what that means is the work that we do here directly benefits our family. So we don't convert what we do here to dollars and then convert those dollars to what we need. Now it makes it a little bit difficult when you have to pay insurance because they won't take, bass out of the pond, or they won't take pastured poultry, but we will figure out a way to work around that. So we got to have dollars from something, right? So we're going to have to be going off the farm a little bit. Before I go there, though, I want to tell you what we discovered going back to the farmstead model. This is where we started. In 1995, we bought our first farm. I was still active duty then, and we owned a house in town, Great Falls, Montana, and we needed to get out of town. We just wanted to get out of town, and we found a little place, a 13-acre place in Fort Shaw, Montana, and that's where it all began. That's really where it all began. I had a full-time job during the day. I'd come home at night and I'd do stuff. So back then, a good friend of mine out there said, no, you don't want to get into farming for a business. Just keep it kind of a hobby. That's what you want to do. I should have listened to him. But actually, though, running it as a business, we had to push ourselves a lot harder than running it as a hobby. So I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot. I had acquired a lot of tools and stuff to make this work. And the tools that I learned were the processes, how to make this work. So we're back where we started, but that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because when we started this, 20 years ago, we didn't know what we were doing. Now we have a pretty good idea what we're doing, right? We have a pretty good resume on this. So it's good, and it's sort of like the pressure's not as much on us to do this. So anyway, what I'm doing today is I'm working on an area here that's 150 feet by 150 feet. Let me do a panoramic. All right, it's just this used to be a hayfield, piece of a hayfield, part of a hayfield, and we fenced it off. And then last year I really did a good job of fencing it because it's up close to the road. And the fence that I had built, 12 years ago, I didn't really know what I was doing, or not as well as I do now. So when I rebuilt this fence, I added things in and I deleted things that didn't work as well. So now I got a really good fence. And that's one of the things that you really need to know how to do in the homesteading business, is control your livestock. Because, I live kind of in the boondocks. My neighbor's 1/10 of a mile across the way. And if my pigs got out, they probably wouldn't go over his house. They'd probably show up at the back door. But if you live a little closer than that, you really have to contain your animals, because that can make for some serious damage if your animals get out into somebody else's stuff. Okay, but what I want to get across with this is I'm going to make several videos on this, because this is a pretty good sized project, and I'm just going to chip away at it a little bit at a time. But I got 150 by 150, very well fenced, and my fencing system is I use woven wire on the outside, 2 strands of barb on top of that, and then I use an electric on the inside as a standoff, and I come in a foot and up a foot, and I'll show that in another video. But I have that all the way around here, and it's brand new, just did it last year. This fence will last a long time. It'll sag a little bit, but I'll kind of show you how we prevent prevent that from happening too. But this area right here, you can see there's the county road right there. So it's close to the road, but I don't have much traffic on this road. And I wouldn't normally put a lot of animals up close to the road, because if something went wrong, you know, it's a way that they could find a direction to go if they were to get out on that side. But downgrading to homestead status, I have to ask myself the question, how many pigs do you really need to keep? Because every sow that you keep equals a lot of feed that you gotta procure for those animals. And whether you're buying it from the store or whatever, it's a lot of feed. So for my family, I only need to keep one boar and one sow. I'm gonna keep one boar and 3 sows because I have 3 sows that I like, and 2 of them happen to be pretty pregnant right now, so I don't want to move them off. And so I'm going to have 3, all right, and probably downsize it to 2. Each one of this type of pig equals about 12 baby pigs a year. So that's going to give me, you know, roughly, what would that be? 38 pigs, which is quite a few. And some of them I can just trade right away, or sell, trade for dollars, or trade for stuff, or just sell them. Trade for dollars, that's selling. Or, and then I want to keep, probably for my family, I probably want to keep and feed out 20, all right? With my kids that live around here that are going to need meat, and you know, I'll put more in the freezer than I probably need, and you know, I can barter with that, I can trade with that. I can't trade it for dollars anymore, that's out of the question now. But you know, a few extra for things that come up, hog roast and things like that. So it's not, I mean, 150 by 150 is not a huge area, it really isn't. But I don't even need that much. And I will show you that when they're in here, that they don't take up a whole lot of area in here. And I'm going to do a few things here that will work for everybody. So you'll have to stay tuned. I'm not working on those things today, though. I'm just working on their shelter today. And I'll just show you. It's an oil tank that was cut in half and then split down the middle, and then I set it up on railroad ties, and I'm getting ready to weld some clips on the side here and then drill holes down through the railroad ties and run some about 4 or 5 foot stakes down in there, pieces of re-rod. I want to stake them down really, really well. I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to stress to you all that you're going to want to build this stuff one time. And you're going to want to build it so that when you go to your day job, whatever you do, you're not worried that you're going to come home and find a mess. Because you're not going to like homesteading very well if you come home and find your pigs at the back door or a cow standing in your driveway. Okay, so I'm going to cut it off there. I will keep these videos short because they upload easy, and my wife says she loses me if I go more than 10 minutes. So we'll keep it right there. Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm, and please stay tuned.